Ladies and gentlemen, coming up this week on Kings of the Rings podcast, we kick off the new year with a little bit of Wrestle Kingdom that has major AEW and WWE implications. Plus, Triple H signs a major star from Mexico, and Charlotte Flair does what Charlotte Flair does. So sit back, relax, and be surprised that Ric Flair's real name isn't actually Richard Flair. It's Kings of the Rings podcast for a brand new year, the year 2023. Our first episode, episode 322. The More Things Change, exclusively here on Wrestle Addict Radio, and it starts right now. Or maybe. There we go. Here we go, folks.
What is going on with this computer?
All right, folks. Here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 322. The More Things Change, of course. I am your host, King Ricky Rose. So let me be one of the first people, or one of the last people actually, to wish you a happy and healthy new year. It's our first show of the new year, and just like our last show of the new year, I don't think everybody was here. No, everybody was here. My apologies. But for our first show, luckily for everybody, Will's not here because he's currently losing all of his money in Las Vegas. So Will, hopefully you still save some money to take at least a Spirit Airlines flight home, because at this moment in time, I trust Spirit Airlines more than I do Southwest. Be that as it may, of course, like I said, I'm your host, King Ricky Rose, and with me is the ever lovely, fresh hairdo, the K Murphy. K Murphy, how are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ricky. I'm so glad to be back.
I'm glad that you're back, too.
Me too. Life has been a hurricane here in Duckburg, and I've just had a lot of I will speak on this not today, but I've had a lot of life changes and things happening and in the motion, and I'm just in a very exciting period right now.
Okay.
I've been so busy. I have a cilantro tattoo.
You do have a cilantro tattoo.
Yes. Healing some trauma along the way.
Speak for yourself. I'm developing new ones.
Well, cilantro, just to speak on my trauma for just a
Please
minute.
do.
Well, I'll tell the full story in post,
Okay.
but I was in a wedding last year. I was in the wedding, and I was on the groom's side. The groom was my best friend from high school. And his and his now wife's friendships with the rest of us deteriorated on the cruise we went on for their bachelorette party, and then further deteriorated at their wedding. And now none of us are friends with them anymore. So cilantro was our safe word during the whole wedding experience. So if anyone needed to talk or go out and get some air without, being sus, we would text cilantro or say cilantro or send a plant kind of emoji. And now me and four of my best friends got matching cilantro tattoos as a way to commemorate our friendship.
Okay.
And what we've been through together.
Gotta love it. Gotta love cilantro being used as a safe word, essentially.
It's a great safe word.
It is a great safe word. So yeah, I'm glad you're able to turn your trauma into something positive, like a new tattoo. I'm still waiting on how to turn my recent trauma into something positive, but maybe I'll write about it in the future. So yeah, how was your New Year's, by the way?
My New Year's was great. Dylan and I were on Long Island. We went to our friends in Lindenhurst, and we had a little pajama party.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I wore a Grogu onesie with Grogu slippers.
You should have taken a picture. I would have loved that.
I do have a picture. I'll send you the picture, but
I might make that your new missing icon when you're not around. You and Grogu
he is
ones.
baby Grogu.
Yeah.
Baby Grogu, I have that onesie because that was my work Halloween costume because I worked on Halloween.
Yeah.
And I like didn't want to commit to like a real costume while I was like sitting on my computer all night, so I just wore a cute little onesie moment and I saved it for New Year's because I always get a onesie.
Okay.
Um, but I had an edible that got me so like violently like sick.
Oh, that's not good.
My friend gave me an edible and like I can hang, you know?
Yeah.
And but it was like 9:45. I just remember sitting on the couch feeling just like violently nauseous and the room was spinning and like honestly, like I didn't think I was gonna make it to midnight.
Oh, wow, really?
No, I made it to midnight.
That's good. I made it to midnight
But
because I was watching football by my lonesome. It's a great game,
we
though.
ended the
I will say
night
this.
watching SpongeBob.
Nice.
So
I was watching
what
Ohio
did you
State.
do?
What did I do?
Oh, college
Yeah,
football?
it was the semifinals. That's pretty much all I did. I didn't have any visitors or anything, so I was kind of just chilling by myself. But a little bit of, I guess, more on that in a little bit. But Taekwon, I like this whole thing about you said your resolutions to develop TV and movie plans, titles, and premises is working on scripts and pitches. Well,
Fuck yeah, that's
I better
awesome.
be a part of these ideas, because I will star in this. I will support you if I get a role in your stuff. You better be writing something for me to Kwan.
Thank you. My roommate just brought me popcorn.
Yeah. So nice. I want somebody to bring me popcorn. No, I don't.
I have the best roommate.
Clearly you do. Um.
I do.
So yeah. So wait. So Taekwondo has resolutions. Okay. Do you have any resolutions? We're gonna be those
Um,
people right now before we talk about wrestling.
I was just gonna ask you that, and then Kaya came in with food for me. So it's not necessarily, I don't really like the idea of a New Year's
Neither do
resolution.
I.
I have New Year's intentions, I have New Year's goals,
Mm-hmm.
because for me, the intention is more powerful than setting a resolution. Because for me, like setting a resolution, like, oh, I'm gonna lose, there
Yeah.
sets like a hefty expectation.
Lofty, and it's not detailed enough.
Yeah, whereas an intention, like one of my intentions is to like be more intentional this year.
Yeah.
Be more intentional. I want to be healthier. I want to prioritize like moving my body and like finding something that works for me more, whether that be going back to the gym, finding my yoga practice again because I like fell out of that. Like I just want it and I just want to be like cozy. You
Understandable.
know, what about you? What are
What
your
about me?
intentions?
I guess my intentions would be to it's really weird because I guess overall I guess it's to be as I'm learning this as I'm learning this throughout my last couple of months, probably just to be more transparent because you know me, and I'm going to break a little bit of a fourth wall here, K Murphy. Obviously I do.
Break it.
I know I'm breaking it and to be a little bit more transparent with things and how I'm doing, because obviously King Ricky Rose is clearly a persona that I put on for this show a lot more often than people think. Because in actuality, the last couple months have been fucking horrible for me. I've not been doing well mentally, and I'll be completely honest about that. It's been a real big it's been messing with my mind a lot, especially in the last couple of weeks or so. And if you want more details on that, you should read what I write. Oh, by the way, I have a blog. You should figure out where to find it. You should figure out where to find it for that. So I think a lot of the time I don't let people in for a lot of myriads of reasons, which I won't get into here. But it's probably just to be more intentional and be more transparent. So this is, I guess, a part of that project because. To be honest with you, I'm suffering from imposter syndrome. Um,
Let's hear it.
for those
Why do you feel
for
like you're
those
an
of you who don't
imposter?
know, imposter syndrome is really well, and spell my name right, Taquan. But imposter syndrome is when you feel like you're not the person that pretty much everybody believes you to be, or you don't feel like you're yourself, or you feel like you're an imposter in your own body. I know you're not supposed to use the word in the definition. However, that's what it is. Um, like for the most part, I feel like I hear a lot of good things about me, and I've heard a lot of great things about me throughout my life. But for the last couple of months, have really made me question: am I who everybody thinks I am? It's kind of ideal, and I don't know that answer yet. So I'm really also kind of trying to find myself again, a little bit more. So there's going to be a lot of uh, there's going to be a lot more being more transparent. One of the things that I am consistent in, I think very good at, is doing podcasting, and podcasting does give me a little bit of sense of strength and comfort. Hence why I'm here right now, and I'm not, and I'm not like, curled up in a bed in the fetal position or anything like that. Because this is something that kind of does bring me joy and brings me a little bit more balance. Because I get to talk to you guys, and I get to see people like Kay, and unfortunately see people like Will. But it helps me to, but it helps to communicate. It helps me to communicate with other people, because it is a very lonely world, in on this side of the computer screen, these last couple of months. And so I'm trying to figure out where I stand now, I guess, in the world. This is kind of like a midlife crisis. However, um,
Oh, I love this for you.
so I'm trying to figure a lot out, about myself, and at the end of it all, I probably am who people think I am, but at this moment in time, I don't feel it. I don't feel it myself, and I'm trying to get back to that level of confidence and self-esteem, because, right, honestly, I don't have it. King Ricky Rose has it, and I'll have it in space. As it's talking about wrestling, that's a level of comfort, and that's a way for me to compartmentalize and really kind of like, show you something, but not show you everything. And I'm kind of trying to blur those lines a little bit more. If that makes sense to you, K. Murphy.
No, that definitely makes sense to me.
So overall, yes, I'm. Thank you, thank you already, Taquan. So yeah, to be honest, I'm not doing well. So if you ever have some time, just shoot me a text or whatever. Don't hit me up on social media, because that's also a part of that. I am gone from social media until further notice. So that's why all of my shit is blacked out. So if you want to reach me, the people who know how to reach me know how to reach me. Be that as it may. But
Call me,
otherwise,
beat me if you want to
I
reach
hate
me.
that you use Kim Possible. Otherwise, let's talk about wrestling, as I read Taquan's pitch for me. It's gonna be hip hop and R&B, just like it was made. Honestly, I'm all for it. I'll be a voice in one of your projects. I'm definitely all for that. Thank you, Taquan. But obviously, it's a new year. In wrestling, you can Discord DM me. That also counts as a text. It's not really social media for me, frets. So do whatever you need. You can always contact me, frets, because you have to, because I am the general manager of your wrestling podcast network. So you have to talk to me. You have no choice. um,
What,
yeah,
what?
be it as it may. It is a new year, and the first big thing that happens in the new year all the time, in the world of wrestling, is what's known as Wrestle Kingdom. The 17th Wrestle Kingdom is upon us. It started a little bit earlier, today, because we're recording here on a Wednesday night. It started at 3 a.m. this morning, night one of Wrestle Kingdom. We obviously don't know a lot of the. I know the card, but we're not going to go through the whole card, because some things have already happened, some things have yet to occur. But we will do a little bit of who we think has won or may not have won. And there is one big thing that happened at Wrestle Kingdom that everybody's talking about, so much that no one's talking about the rest of Wrestle Kingdom. And we're going to get to that in a second. Obviously, the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, whether it be, I believe it's going to be tomorrow night or tomorrow morning, whichever way you see it. Obviously, the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, the Rainmaker Okada versus the fifth IWGP champion, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion of this edition of the title. So when I say fifth, he's not actually the fifth IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He's the fifth champion of this iteration of the belt, or of the belt. It's Jay White. That's one of the things I do enjoy about New Japan, is that they always tell you where in the lineage the person is.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy this. Jay White has built a great career in New Japan. Fucking fantastic career in New Japan. And Okada's just Okada.
Oh, how does the man?
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch
Okada's.
this show.
Yeah, I'm not. Okada's not my favorite New Japan wrestler, but I respect him as the years go by. I just don't respect the Spanish because I was like, oh, it's a clothesline. But that man's a hell of an athlete. I will give you that. He is a hell of an athlete. And I wish more people could see him, but he's great in Japan. I'll tell you right now, he's great in Japan. He's good at doing everything he does. Um, it's a toss up, okay? Like Jay White, leader of the Bullet Club, even though Bullet Club's not even relevant anymore, but Jay White's there. He's been doing great. You have Okada. I don't know who wins. Like
I do.
you can say Okada. You think Okada?
Well, it happened already.
Oh, it did happen already. Was Russ?
I have the results for last night if you want them.
All right. So here's my question though. Now, did they just? Because I remember Wrestle Kingdom being 2 days, and I could be
It is. I think there's another show tonight.
okay. But is it still Wrestle Kingdom tonight?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I think Wrestle Kingdom is 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then they do New Year's Dash.
Yeah. Wrestle Kingdom Day One was night. So wait, Okada and Jay White was the first night, but they didn't leave that for the main for night two.
Okada won.
Of course, of course. So Fred's is saying New Year's.
Wait, what's the card for day two?
Well, apparently, Taekwon's saying Wrestle Kingdom Day One was last night. Fred's is saying
It was.
Fred's is saying New Year's Dash is tonight. Fred's is saying Wrestle Kingdom was just one night.
Oh, but it says on Wikipedia it's 2 nights.
Apparently, it's just New Year's Dash is tonight, according to Fred. So now, thank you for that update, Fred. So every Wrestle Kingdom
Well,
has already
that's good.
happened. So it's really fun. I love this now, okay? Because I love how now Wrestle Kingdom went from the 2 night thing to one night, and now WrestleMania is expanding to 2 nights. They totally switch places.
I don't want a 2 night mania.
In LA, I think a 2 night Mania is needed. I did 2 nights. I did 2 nights last year for the first time, and it wasn't that bad. It gives everybody a chance to breathe.
I feel
It
like,
also makes them a fuck ton of more money.
well, yeah, I feel like I'll be okay when we go to Philly,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know how I feel farther away.
Yeah, Philly will be fun because then like things will get out at a decent time. We'll be able to do other stuff, like eat more cheesesteaks. It's gonna be like my cheesesteak week. Just gonna eat cheesesteaks all the fucking
Oh,
time.
fuck yeah.
So Okada wins. Okada is your brand new champion. Also, for the first time ever, the IWGP Women's Championship was defended. The first ever champion, Kairi, formerly known as Kairi Sane, just going by Kairi, defended her title successfully against Tam Nakano. Unfortunately, no one's talking about that match because there is a new challenger in the building, and she is money. Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, made her New Japan and Stardom, essentially because New Japan and Stardom are owned by the same company, made her New Japan and Stardom debut at Wrestle Kingdom. Mercedes Moné, pretty much it's Sasha Banks without saying it's Sasha Banks because she still had the rings and all of that stuff. She's the CEO of the women's division. I love it because she's no longer the boss.
I love
No
it.
longer the boss. She's the CEO. I love it. It's CEO time. Shut up, Fred. You're having way too much fun with this. She showed up. I don't know if you saw her entrance. Uh,
I did. It's beautiful.
it was
She
beautiful.
looked. That hair
That hair's
is
wild.
art.
Yeah.
Art.
That hair is wild. She put on. She looked like she gained muscle.
Hmm.
Like she looked good, as Booker T would
I
say.
like her. Oh, I actually like her better with the shorter hair.
You know. Um. So she is challenging Kyrie for the IWGP Women's Title. And spoiler alert, folks, she's gonna win
Yeah.
because you'd be stupid to have her lose her first match. It's gonna pull in great ratings. Here's the crazy thing about this: Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, also went to Twitter yesterday and did a whole bunch of thank
Oh,
yous.
she thanked
Specifically,
everyone that's ever been like affiliated with the WWE ever.
yeah, everybody but Booker T.
Literally.
I would know specifically it was Regal, Triple H, the Universe, Vince McMahon, obviously, and also the last person she thanked was Sasha Banks, which I thought was pretty cool.
That's really sweet. Like,
I thought that was really cool that she thanked her character Sasha
I
Banks.
also like that they, in her entrance in New Japan, that they straight up they acknowledge that she was a seven-time singles champion in WWE. Like they don't do what
Yeah.
WWE does, and and would have if WWE had done that, they would have been like seven-time singles champion in America. Like
Well, no, that's actually changed a lot lately. Michael Cole and company have gotten the freedom to talk about everybody's past places where they've been.
that's great. Again, I
Like there was one episode of Raw where Michael Cole just went through the history of the Bullet Club.
shut the fuck up.
He talked about AJ and Finn Balor's affiliation with the Bullet Club, and he was like, Finn Balor started the Bullet Club, and then AJ Styles took over, and blah blah blah.
Can I just say, Vince McMahon should have stepped down so long ago. I think that's so healthy.
You know what it was? I can understand why Vince did what he did with not having the announcers acknowledge other companies.
Hmm.
Because from a marketing standpoint, that makes sense. Why acknowledge the competition? It makes WWE seem very much more grandiose and more larger than life. But there are downsides to
I
it. But I do like this
eh,
new approach that Triple H is
I
doing.
think that shit. WWE doesn't lose anything by acknowledging there are other companies.
They don't lose anything now, and I feel like this is something that was put in place, especially when Vince began to take over, and he never changed it.
Hmm.
Like when the territories were around and Vince was really eating up the territories, of course you don't want them to acknowledge where they came from because they're completely different. They're a new brand coming up, and I think Vince just never changed that opinion of everything.
Yeah.
Which is benefits in that. Like now it doesn't matter because they're number one and no one's going to take them down. And to be completely honest with you, wrestling needs WWE to stay at the top.
Yeah.
Like I know how people love AEW and Ring of Honor and all of that stuff, but you need somebody with the history, with the prestige, and with the connections to the rest of pop culture and media outlets like WWE does because it helps out everybody else.
Hmm.
You know, it really does. But back to Miss Monet, as we will call her now. It was
It's
interesting.
that name is so good.
It's good. It's literally just the evolution of her character.
Hmm.
It's like because it's Monet, because it's a play on money
Hmm.
and all of that. But also to be noted that was in the crowd supporting Sasha or Miss Monet. I will say I gotta get used to it, but Miss Monet, which she already has a whole catalog of stuff on Pro Wrestling Tees, is Naomi
Hmm.
was in the crowd as well, but also Bailey was there as well.
Oh yeah, she was backstage. She, Sasha, and FTR, they recreated that old NXT picture.
Yeah, so Bailey was there as well. It's good. I'm very excited. For not for Miss Bot who's trying to spam us right now, but I'm very excited for Miss Monet and Kyrie because they kind of hinted at it when they did a whole NXT triple threat, and I believe it was either the Great American Bash
Hmm.
or one of them, but they've never had a singles match. And to be honest with you, people are talking about Miss Monet going to AEW, but she's gonna do her stuff in Japan first. If anybody knows about her history, she loves anime, she loves the Japanese culture. I'm not surprised that she went over to New Japan and Stardom first before anything. She's pretty much brought Miko Satomura over to NXT
No,
UK.
she did.
She trained with Miko Satomura, you know. So I expect her to return those favors, and she's gonna do great. She's going to go on a Cody Rhodes like tour
Hmm.
because number one, she deserves to take everybody by storm because she's probably the best female wrestler going. You know,
Not Charlotte Flair.
no, Charlotte. I don't believe so. You should have seen. You should have listened to. We did a post show once when you were in around K. We did the Bret Hart scale of the four horsewomen.
Hmm.
Will and I both picked Sasha as number one based on the points.
Now, when you say points,
So
what do
it's
you mean?
it's a 10 points or maximum on three scales. She doesn't have adrenaline in her soul. Shut up, Taekwon.
I have adrenaline in my soul.
Yeah, so it's based on like quality of matches, move set, and I think and it's just overall look, like appearance.
Mhm.
They're vague on purpose, so you can kind of interpret them the way that you want. No, oh no, it's
Okay.
like I forgot the Bret Hart scale. I think it's talking, appearance and moves, I believe,
I like that.
or something like that. And on the scale, Sasha was one for both myself and Will.
I would probably agree with that, honestly.
It was, I think it was Sasha. For me, it was Sasha one, Charlotte two, Becky three, Bailey four.
Yeah, Bailey's at the bottom for me.
Not by any amount of Bailey, but like it was also very close. Like my points were like they were probably within like 4 points of each other from the top to the bottom.
Hmm. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, no, it's very tough. But she's gonna do well. She's gonna go on a crazy tour because guess what? She's gonna get her money that she wasn't getting in WWE. The fact that they were you here when we talked about this, right, Kay?
What she was getting paid?
In comparison to other people.
Yeah, I was here.
Yeah, the fact that they essentially lowballed her, I think, was a bunch of horse shit. And she's gonna come and get that money, and then she's gonna be undeniable. That's hence the Cody Rhodes thing. Cody Rhodes went on a 6-year journey, became undeniably a huge star, and he got paid. Sasha's
Yeah,
Monet's gonna do the
she'll
same
be
thing. Yeah,
back.
she'll be back. She just needs to prove herself, but it also gives her the freedom to do other stuff that she's wanted to do,
Yeah.
and more power to her.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to go away to like people to realize how much your value and your worth is. Worked for Cody.
I feel like New Japan's more her vibe anyway.
Yeah, she gets to do a lot of her cosplay and vibe and stuff, and some would argue what else could she do in WWE.
See, I wonder, do you think she'll show up in AEW?
It's possible. I mean, because she can flow. She can go anywhere. Like, WWE has the superstar exclusivity contract, and that's for good reason. I don't like. I enjoy that about WWE. I think that's a smart move, to protect their investments in people. Whereas all other wrestling brands don't have that, and I get concerned about AEW if they're going to try to move towards a higher tier of sports entertainment, even though they're going to call themselves wrestling, but I get it. If they're going to move towards a higher tier, they got to limit where their rosters or where the people on their roster are going to be performing at, because it does become a liability a lot of the time. But be that as it may, at this moment in time, AEW doesn't have those exclusive contracts, so their superstars can go anywhere, and it's good for like there's pros and cons to each. So for Sasha, she could show up at AEW. They need help. Like they need help. I wouldn't be surprised if she does. You know,
Like, when is Paige supposed to have her mystery tag team opponent announced? Did that happen
I
already?
don't.
I haven't watched
I haven't
AEW in
watched.
like a
I haven't
month.
watched
Sorry,
AEW in
y'all.
a minute either. I don't know. But it could be her. People are saying it might be her. But she has the name and she has the theme music, and she can go anywhere. But I think she's going to be in Japan for a little bit longer.
I think it's great. Good for
Yeah,
her.
good for her. And
Get that
honestly,
bag.
she's the only thing everybody's talking about on Twitter and from Wrestle Kingdom. That's the only thing I've seen.
I would disagree with that. I have heard Sasha's the number one thing I've heard about,
Yeah,
followed by Kenny and Will Ospreay.
I did hear about it as well. But when you think about it, Sasha didn't even have a match, or Mercedes Moné didn't even have a match on Wrestle Kingdom. She's the number one trending topic from Wrestle Kingdom. That's
Well,
power.
yeah, it's a big deal.
That's no, like that's power.
Hmm.
That's power. There was rumors that Triple H was around for Wrestle Kingdom as well, like actually in Japan for Wrestle Kingdom. That has not been confirmed yet, but I did hear rumors that he might show up.
Honestly, I think that's really cool
Tri-
that Triple H is like
Triple H
respecting.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
If he's going to put NXTs in other territories, he has to show respect to the other territories.
Yeah.
Triple H is not a dumb man. So congratulations to Sasha Banks, my boo, aka Mercedes Monet, or now known as Mercedes Monet, formerly known as Sasha Banks. More power to her. More power to her. Also on the card, obviously, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, the IWGP US Championship, a potential match of the year candidate. As I've heard, Kay, who won that?
Kenny.
Fucking Christ, Kenny.
Um, I haven't
Fucking
seen it
Christ,
yet, but
Kenny.
I heard that I was watching Cultaholic this morning and they were saying that they did a live stream of like reactions.
Yeah.
Not a single soul predicted a Kenny Omega victory. People thought either Will was gonna win or it ended a draw.
Well, why would you pick Kenny, right?
Because in Japan, see, Kenny's the heel and
Of course he
Will's the
is.
face.
You know what it could be? This also could be more of, which might be a good thing. This could be more from the fallout of his fights in AEW with Khan and Punk and all of them.
True.
Because I don't see. I mean, they did make their glorious return, but like the last time they made the return at that pay per view, they lost. Remember,
Yeah.
they lost. So maybe they came to a consensus like, hey, we may not. We will start putting people over in AEW, the company that we run and own, and maybe they will do other things outside of AEW to kind of keep
Hmm.
their clout and their legacy. Which I would agree to that. Like
Hmm.
I think it's a smart move
Yeah.
if that's the move that they're gonna make. You know, um, because they don't need to do anything in AEW anymore. They got it. They got it off the ground. It's working. They just debuted it.
Yeah, they can
They just
go.
debuted a new set. Play a little bit more in the background. You can do your other independent stuff on the side, but also you still have to be running an organization too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So congratulations to Kenny. You know, good for him. I still think he needs to make that. He needs to make one more jump, but we'll see how it goes. You know,
Hmm.
we'll see how it goes. Also on the card, we had the a brand new title for New Japan as well. They have a television championship now, so they had a tournament for
Yeah.
the New Japan Pro Wrestling World TV title, the first of its kind. Zack Sabre versus Ren Narita, and the winner is Kay Murphy.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Of course, it was Zack Sabre Jr. That fucking bastard. He loves being over there. So congratulations to him. So New Japan has really been, when you look at a K Murphy, New Japan has really been
Mhm.
amping up their titles. They now have the IWGP Championship. They have the Junior Heavyweight Championship. You have the Never Openweight title,
Hmm.
which Carl Anderson finally dropped at Wrestle Kingdom. They have the IWGP Women's title, and
Hmm.
now you have a television championship, and also you have the tag team championships as well. And I believe they also have a trios title
Hmm.
as well. So they've been really ramping them up. And never open weight 6-man tag. Thank you so much for that one, Saquon. I forgot about that as well. Which is good. And the big thing here is obviously the TV title, which helps out a lot of the lower tier card people and also brings some relevancy. I wish WWE had a television championship again, and and the women's championship, first of its kind, which means they're open to bringing women on their programming, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I believe that's all we have for Wrestle Kingdom. But before we go from Wrestle Kingdom, I will say this. I believe this is the first time in the history of Wrestle Kingdom that you had New Japan contracted, WWE contracted,
Hmm.
and AEW contracted wrestlers all performing at the same event,
I think so.
which is
Yeah, and
crazy.
Carl Anderson lost, and
Well,
so Tama
he
Tonga is
had
the
to
never
lose.
openweight champion. Yeah.
He had to lose. It was just a matter of time. But I think that's really cool. I can only imagine what that backstage was like. You know, talking to all the
I
people.
I just think it's so cool. Like, I don't know. I love watching the wrestlers overlap.
Yeah,
Like, I would love to see more WWE people like doing stuff in other promotions. I think it's great.
yeah. I think it's great too, but it's one of those things that you kind of have to. You don't want to oversaturate it. So I think events like this is cool. And I'll probably bring this up when we're all back together when we talk about the Royal Rumble this year. The Royal Rumble
Mhm.
at this point in its existence is the perfect time to start bringing in talent from other bigger promotions. Why? Because it works. It was proven last year when you brought back Mickey James for her one off, and the place went
Mhm.
fucking nuts. Number two, you're running out of people to do surprise returns for. Like WWE's running out. Um, and I think for WWE, they're perfect for this. The Royal Rumble is a perfect idea and a perfect spot to
Hmm.
highlight people, and also to put a spotlight on the wrestling world and universe as a whole. Like, how crazy would it be if all of a sudden you heard, like, the buzzer sounds from the Rumble, and at number 30 it's the coin drop and it's fucking Okada.
I think the place would blow up.
Yeah, like you just hear a coin drop and it's him.
Hmm.
you know? Like and you can set up mini runs here. I mean, does it alienate some of
Hmm.
your talent you're trying to home grow? Sure, but this is the biggest part of a year coming up for wrestling. It's all hands on deck. It's
Hmm.
it's money making season. So either you're gonna help them make money, or you're gonna be sitting on the sidelines until you're able to make money for them. So I would love
Yeah.
a mini Okada run, but from him through WrestleMania, and he's gone. Then he's gone. That's
Hmm.
all you got to do. And the rest of the year
Yeah.
is yours. Be it as it may, Wrestle Kingdom, I am gonna have to try to watch it. I'm glad it's only one night this year.
Same. I would like to watch. I'll watch it this
Yeah,
weekend.
I'll find it. I know Fretz might have the file, but who knows? I'll find a site for it when I get bored in my lonesome. Oh, also, yeah, we had the Junior Heavyweight Championship. I forgot about this. Taiji Ishimori, Hiromu Takahashi, El Desperado, and Master Wato, and pretty much essentially a fatal four way. Do you know who won this, the Junior Heavyweight?
Takahashi.
Hiromu Takahashi. Congratulations to him.
Hmm.
It's funny, but they never changed the IWGP Junior Heavyweight, so it still looks like the IWGP Heavyweight that we grew up on,
Hmm.
which is actually the replica. I want the buyback. I want to find and buy that replica because that's the
You
IWGP.
should get it.
When I have more money,
Literally.
when I have more money, I will definitely do that because I do want to expand my belts to outside of WWE lore. So congratulations to Takahashi. And we're going to move back into more current events, just like what happened on Friday, because, like we said, the more things change, Kay, the more titles Charlotte Flair wins. On the final
I'm so
SmackDown
mad.
of the year, Ronda Rousey was battling Raquel Rodriguez, formerly known as Raquel Gonzalez, for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Put on a pretty decent match from what I was able to see. I was flipping back and forth between some football because my friend Sam was over. Shout out to my friend Sam for actually visiting me. He probably had no choice. His wife sent him to me. It's actually what happened. So we were able to watch this match, and it was a decent match. I think Raquel did a good job. And then all of a sudden, you heard what appeared to be Ric Flair's music.
Oh God.
Because, yes, Kay Murphy, Charlotte Flair has changed her music up again.
So
It
what?
sounds more like Rick's.
Interesting.
So you hear the opening Silo because it's 2001: A Space Odyssey. If everybody knows that song, it's one of the more
Hmm.
iconic songs in movie and pop culture history. So it starts out a little bit like that, and then you hear "All Hail the Queen," and then Charlotte comes out,
Gotcha.
which is pretty cool. She came out. She looks like she put on weight either naturally or with plastic surgery, but she looks thicker as well. She
Hmm.
hasn't been seen since May, which is good.
Well, she just got married, right?
She had been married, okay? She was married for a while, went on honeymoon and all that stuff. And from what Will was telling me, Charlotte was just waiting for the right storyline to come back. Like, she's been ready.
Yeah.
And also good for her for being like, no, give me the right story or I'm not coming back.
Hmm.
Which is
I
good.
don't blame
Which
her.
I'm glad that women like Charlotte in her way, and Sasha and Naomi in their way are getting more power and getting the confidence to really
Hmm.
speak what they want because that pays them because they deserve to have their voices heard.
Yeah.
And so Charlotte came immediately asked or demanded Ronda to defend her title. Ronda was all hot and felt disrespected. Shayna Baszler, which I think is the key moment here, was like, no, 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 don't do this, don't do this. Ronda rejects Shayna's pleas, says, I'm going to fight you, and Charlotte beats her. She is now a 14-time world champion.
Mm-hmm.
14-time world champion. She came back like a conquering hero, which is just what you want, because this is wrestling 101. We have grown to do what in this most recent run of Ronda Rousey? Dislike her, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is the classic anybody but insert person here trope.
Yeah.
Y'all hated Ronda so much that Charlotte Flair seems like the greatest thing of all time. It's great work. It's great work. So Charlotte Flair came back as a face. Well, probably won't be too long until she flips up again.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlotte Flair is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Kay, where do you go from here with Ronda?
I don't fucking care. Honestly, I've been over Charlotte Flair for forever and ever and ever. Um, I had heard that the predicted match for Mania was supposed to be for the title Ronda versus Rhea.
A rematch of the pandemic.
Yeah. So I would maybe Charlotte and Rhea
Maybe let's talk.
could
Let's
happen.
talk about Mommy as she's been called.
Oh,
So I know. Honestly,
her.
honestly, I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it because it's Charlotte and Rhea's thing, but Dominic Mysterio's doing a fantastic job.
Yo, the fact that he went to jail.
It's so bad. It's so funny. All right, the fact that they did that segment outside, like at the Mysterio family Christmas or what have you, and
I did Thanksgiving too.
yeah, but they posted the video the night of Christmas Eve. They posted a Christmas Eve night on their socials.
I'm dead.
And it was so funny. The line that got me was when they put Dominic in cuffs, and he's like, you gotta help me, you gotta help me. Like, I'm not gonna survive in prison. I can't make it. And then he cut this dumbass promo like he was coming out of a Backstreet Boys music video on a Monday. You see him with the wife beater and the white background?
Yes.
Looking like a mixture of
All over
of
Twitter.
Razor Ramon and Eddie Guerrero.
I can't.
This is becoming gold. This is becoming gold right now with the Mysterio stuff, and I'm glad that the writers were able to do something with
Yeah.
this, because they're gonna have to, because I don't know what's going to happen with a lot of stuff, because a lot of stars have gotten injured. AJ Styles broke his ankle
I
at a live
heard.
show. They put up the X for Seth Rollins this week on Raw.
I saw that.
And he had to get helped back. Hey, Charles is here. What's going on, Charles? Welcome.
Hi, Charles.
Welcome back. Charles probably just got off work. Shout out to Charles. Oh, I do have to tell you something. That reminds me. We'll talk about it on the post show, okay?
Okay.
So there's a lot of stars that are getting injured, which is kind of scary. However, there's a lot of interesting things going on as well. Mixed Murphy. Alexa Bliss is essentially going to be the third member of the Wyatt family again.
Oh, 1000%.
Which I'm enjoying her transformation again, and it's a really funny play on re-traumatization, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird. Like it's if you really break it down, it's all types of fucked up.
Yeah.
But from a storyline standpoint and kayfabe standpoint, it works. I think Kay, me and you suffer from we know too much about how this actually works in the real life.
Yeah.
But from a storyline standpoint, it works. You have that. You also have the fact that, especially on Raw, they've been dropping hints at a reformation of the Hurt Business.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so there was a backstage. So a couple weeks ago, um, Adam Pearce was backstage and he was having some sort of conversation, and then MVP shows up. He goes, "Adam, I need to talk to you about something." And he's like, "Oh, we'll do it later." Blah blah blah. And so this past week, Damage Control was walking to the ring. They had a backstage segment where they were walking to the ring, and in the background, at the top left corner, you saw Adam Pearce talking with MVP, Shelton, and Cedric.
Oh.
Yes, because remember in storyline they fired Bobby Lashley, and then he said Bobby Lashley can come back when he's ready. So
When
now,
he's ready.
yeah, so now I think there's things that are in the mix for that as well. And also, the Usos are remaining the Usos.
Yeah.
And Usi and Sami Zayn. And, Kay, how much you're going to cry when they turn on Sami? You know it's going to happen.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna sob my eyes out.
It's the slowest of all burns, but it's going to happen.
Um, what if Sammy turns on them?
I don't think he would dare do that.
Could you imagine? He's been acting Usi all of his time to get to
You
Roman.
know how much Usi has gotten over?
It's so
It's a
good.
TikTok filter.
What?
You can find out whether you're Usi or not Usi.
I'm dead. That's fantastic. Um,
Which is pretty crazy. So a lot of cool things going on in WWE and Raw and SmackDown. There's been a lot of crossover, as you saw, on Raw at
oh,
least.
I
K
love it.
Murphy.
Oh, I love it. I love crossover so
There's a lot
much.
of crossover. One of the big things, speaking of crossovers, was also the news that broke a little bit before New Year's as well, is that WWE, and he has confirmed this as well, WWE has signed probably the hottest luchador free agent out of Mexico, who just won a title in AAA and was killing it over in New Japan. He goes by the name of Dragon Lee. So you guys can also talk about this in the comments during our live stream right now. But Kay, what do you know about Dragon Lee? All I've heard about it, I haven't seen a match of his, but all I've heard is very, very good things.
I don't really know much about him either, but like same deal. I've heard he's one of the best.
And it,
This feels like one of the biggest WWE signings in a
well,
while.
yeah, because also this is a big signing because WWE recently, before Vince left, had made this giant declaration that they were going to totally change up their model of recruiting and that they weren't
Hmm.
going to recruit independent talent. And that they're going to do more
Yeah.
homegrown because they have a hell of a farm system. I know you don't really watch NXT, and I don't blame you sometimes, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
talent down there, Kay. There's a
Hmm.
lot of raw talent, especially in the women again because they have enough to do at least a 20 woman battle royal next week.
Yeah.
You know, it's just they're just very raw, but they're good, or they're going to be good. Uh, and so they moved to like their farm system, which is a smart move. And for them to sign someone as big as Dragon Lee, who I said was killing it in New Japan, as well as in AAA, and had a lot of notoriety, for them to up and sign him is a kind of a huge deal. You know,
Yeah.
which seems like like as Taquan says in the comments, is Triple H going to go back to raiding the Indies? You
Yes.
know,
For a little while.
potentially. From what I read, which is very very brief, and you know me, I don't like to really dabble within uh, the the newsreels or whatever, the dirt sheets as we call them in wrestling, was that the decision for Dragon Lee obviously went towards money. Because Dragon Lee's going to show up in NXT. He's not showing up on the main. He's not showing up on Raw or SmackDown. He's showing up on
Hmm.
NXT, but it's from what I've read, he has been given a higher than average NXT contract. So he's not starting at the bottom of the pay scale.
So he'll be in the title picture probably fairly
At
quickly.
least in my thought, either of a tag title picture, which is currently run by the New Day. Amazing. um,
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
they're doing
that.
great stuff down there, and I'm happy that Triple H is allowing the superstars to go back and forth from NXT because it
Yeah.
helps out everybody. I say he at least is going to be in the North American title picture.
I could see
Him and
it.
Wesley, if he's as good as a luchador as they're making him to be, hell yes, him and Wesley.
That would be great.
Dragon Lee versus Wesley, the Battle of Elise,
Hmm.
um, which I think would be good. And I'm excited to see him. Like I said, I haven't done my Dragon Lee research. I've been busy trying to keep myself sane, but
Hmm.
I'm very excited to see what he brings to the table. Judging by just this one picture here, he looks like $1 million.
Oh yeah, he's a
You
star
know,
based on that
yeah.
picture.
The only issue I think, which is brought up by a lot of people as well, was that he is also a mass luchador, and WWE doesn't have a great track record with mass luchadors if your name's not Rey Mysterio.
No, seriously.
Two Sin Caras, Kalisto, although Kalisto had his issues in and of himself.
Lucha House
Lucha
Party.
House Party, everybody on Lucha, Grandma League should have been a freaking star.
Yeah.
Although Grandma League wasn't great, Grandma League didn't speak English, which held
Hmm.
him back because he didn't really have a mouthpiece.
Hmm.
So that is the issue here. Like, is WWE going to allow another masked luchador to remain that way? Like, he even made Santos Escobar take off his mask, and also um, Charlotte's husband. What the hell's his name? Oh, Andrade. He made Andrade take off his mask,
Andrade.
but that was also for a smart move. Andrade's a hell of a looker. I'll give him that. He's a good looking guy. So is Santos.
This dude also looks hot through that mask.
Very fair. Very very fair as well. So I don't know if he's going to demask or if he's going to remain that way. It's going to be interesting to see what becomes of it. But there is kind of that stigma of in WWE of if you're not Rey Mysterio, the mask isn't going to work out.
But Rey Mysterio's not going to be here forever.
No, he's
And they
not.
can't just have one luchador ever.
No, he's not. And I think, and speaking of Ray, I do think Ray is going to get his son over and then retire for real, for real.
I agree. I think he's like almost done.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this Mania in
Mania.
LA, he battles his son, he puts his son over, and his son retires him.
I 1000% think that's what's going to
It's the
happen.
closest thing to where he's from San Diego, 619. They're in LA. It's not that far away. Very it's a
Yeah,
perfect send off for him.
that makes the most sense.
Yeah. And I think it'll be poetic. I think it'll be attuned to like, Ray and not Ray. It'd be like when Ric Flair was supposed to retire.
Yeah.
I think it'll be that type of atmosphere. And to be honest with you, if that is the case, that would probably be my big motivator to go to like try a last ditch effort to go to Mania because I would want to see Rey Mysterio's last Mania and his last match.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I think you should go.
Again, if I had the money,
Yeah.
you know, I usually I would, but LA is a little going to the other side of America is a little bit expensive.
Oh yeah, so expensive.
And it's LA. LA is also not a cheap ticket as well either.
Yeah.
But it's I'm not doing that. I'm not the Clips. I don't live in Virginia, Taquan. I'm not gonna sell drugs. Too
Oh my
bad.
god, just so coke with
No,
you.
no, no, no. It's not me. Not that type of guy. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see what's going on. There's a lot of setup, and it's Rumble season. And also the good thing about Rumble season as well, K Murphy, is that I don't know if you noticed, we're doing Rumble qualifying matches, at least on SmackDown.
No.
So you
Why?
don't like you, so you don't like the qualifying matches.
I want to have zero idea of who's going to be in the Rumble.
Well, that already got ruined. Kofi already declared like 4 weeks ago.
Oh. Well, I I don't know. I want to know as few entrants as humanly possible. Like I want to be surprised, especially like you were saying earlier, there aren't that many surprises left.
Especially for a Rumble time.
Yeah.
I do expect Cody to return because they started doing a Cody Rhodes video package.
Oh, Cody's 1,000% coming back.
I think it's going to be Cody Mania this year, like at WrestleMania.
Oh, 1,000,000%. It's all about Cody.
Mm-hmm. You don't throw him that much money, you don't to not give him the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, so it is a little confusing to Quan. I do agree. It is like some people are declaring, some people are going to be in qualifying matches. We're never going to know the full field.
Hmm.
Which I think is a good thing, and I think they do a good job of being like, all right, these people are in, but these people are not in.
Hmm.
And I think it does benefit from a mathematical sense. So if we know the number of people that are in, the number of spots that have not been declared yet.
Hmm.
So if you have, let's say, it's a 30-person rumble, 25 of or let's do 23 of the spots have been declared and or qualified. That leaves 7 spots open for a myriad of people, but you have no idea who could they be.
Hmm.
So I think that does build intrigue. But yes, we can't have the entire all the slots filled.
Yeah.
But I think it's good. What I do want to see more NXT talent. The show
I
about the
agree.
Rumble.
I love seeing a lot of NXT people in the Rumble.
Like when myself, Will, and Dave went to the Rumble in 2018 in Philly. Like Andrade showed up.
Hmm.
Adam Cole was there. Ember Moon. Their champions showed up at the Rumble, it was
I loved that
amazing.
Rumble.
It was 2018 Rumble was so good. It's also the same Rumble where Brock Lesnar punched Braun Strowman in the face.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Do you know why that happened?
Why?
So it was Braun, Brock, and Kane in a triple threat.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe Brock was calling the match. And Braun, being the greenest guy in the ring, was working too fast. And Brock, who's not an idiot, was telling him to slow down.
Hmm.
Like, you're going too quick, slow down. And Braun wasn't listening.
That's annoying.
So Brock punched him in the face.
Oh, my God.
Because
Dramatic.
that's how Brock gets things done.
Yeah.
He listened after that.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Rumble, we're going to end here for the Rumble talk for now. But I do have a question for you. This is a little bit early because we are going to go into this towards the end of the month. But it's Rumble season, Kay.
Thank God.
Who are your front runners?
Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cody, and then for the women,
The women's a toss up.
the women's really hard because
Do you want me to make you cry with excitement?
let's hear it.
What if it's Shotzi?
I don't think it's Shotzi.
She is from California as well.
I don't think they'll give it to Shotzi this year.
Mm-hmm. I also think Cody,
Rhea,
Rhea. Here's what I want to see happen
mhm.
at the Rumble. It's the moment and I think all the marks are going to be with me on this too, because we made it happen the last time. So the last time that the Royal Rumble was in San Antonio,
Mhm.
it was 2017. It was 2017. Who debuted at number 10?
Who was it?
Because this is the last Rumble where it was just the men.
Who debuted in that Rumble?
The Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger.
That's right. That was that year.
They're back in San Antonio. Ty's really not doing much of anything. I would love for them to do that again
I don't think
in
they
San
will.
Antonio.
I don't think they will.
I think that would be great. I think this is also a perfect time for Tyler Breeze to come back
Oh, give it. Give
as a
me.
character.
I would sell my soul for a fucking Fashion Police reunion.
I would also love for Fandango to come back. Like, can you imagine Tyler Breeze and Fandango get a moment in the Rumble together again?
I think that would be great. I
I,
would like to. Honestly, my biggest Royal Rumble prediction isn't until next year's Rumble.
Why?
I MJF in the Rumble next year.
Whew. Whew. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. And then you get MJF versus Cody in Philly for Mania.
Oh,
Just imagine the promos.
it would be golden.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow, that blew my mind. Um, it's too early to do it just yet, but
yeah.
I
I
would.
have to
Well,
like.
no, not that. I had another thought. Sorry. Okay.
What's your thought?
I think we're still about a year or two away from this actually being a thing. But I would love to see talent from like AEW or New Japan showing up at the Rumble.
I agree. I think it would be great. It definitely isn't this year.
Like I would love because there are some people in AEW that deserve a WWE spotlight, if only for a night. People like Eddie Kingston. Des-
Uh,
I think Eddie King WWE is not going to sign Eddie Kingston.
Absolutely not.
His character doesn't fit their model. But
Yeah.
you can have him show up at the Royal Rumble once.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to know who he is, and I want Eddie Kingston to get kind of that recognition for all of his hard work
He should. He's awesome.
that he's done. You know, I don't think you would
I
get somebody like the Bucks or anybody like that, and unless they got a storyline deal where they went on like a mini run.
I could see Chris Jericho coming back.
Jericho's always a possibility. If Jericho stops being a dick, I think like it's always a possibility for Jericho.
But I think Jericho would get to I think they would let him come back with Judas and all that.
I would love to see if he's welcome. I'd love to see Andrade make a quick return because I think that's just
Mm-hmm.
cool. I would love to see Ember Moon come back, especially since he's the ROH Women's Champion. You know, I would love to see Ember. Mickey
Hmm.
James, obviously, always welcome. You know, to come back.
Um,
I would love to see the Acclaim show up, even though that's never gonna happen. But
oh man, the acclaimed would never.
yeah,
Darby Allen.
Darby would be cool. I would love to
Uh,
see Darby show up.
I could see Matt Hardy going in the Rumble.
As long as he's in good relations with WWE. I don't like for instance, I see maybe Matt but not Jeff.
Well, so quick sidebar. I saw something on Twitter today that apparently Matt kind of is like alluding that Jeff might be done. Like he might not come back.
Jeff should have been done years ago. I hate to say like I know you love Jeff, but I've been concerned about Jeff for years at this point.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And honestly, what else do we need from Jeff Hardy? If we're being honest.
I wanted them to get the AEW tag titles and then retire. I wanted them to like
Mm.
complete it. That's all I
Have
want from them.
hold all the major tag titles in the history. I get it.
Yeah, that's all I wanted from them.
Oh, interesting. Apparently, Mr. Fred said Britt Baker just called herself the boss.
Interesting.
Speaking of which, I would love for Britt Baker to show Battle Rumble. I think she's perfect for a Rumble spot.
Oh, she would be great.
Especially like if you get Britt Baker, you're definitely like, imagine the pop up
Adam.
Adam Cole came back for a Rumble.
Yeah.
You know, it's a brand new world that Triple H is opening up WWE to the world again. And so and if Triple H is as good as a businessman as I think he is, because he makes a lot of good business decisions.
Hmm.
I think he can foster those relationships with the other companies, and he could probably
I
just
agree.
I think he could just force Tony Khan to do whatever the fuck he wants,
Probably.
you know. But I think it's cool. Think it's really really cool, but it needs to be controlled.
Yeah.
Like people just can't be showing up whenever they want.
I get that.
Yeah, you gotta have it because it sullies the surprise.
Hmm.
You know, and I think Rumble season's the perfect season. Rumble and Mania season, perfect time for people to randomly fucking show up.
I agree.
You know, it creates those great crossover moments. But be that as it may, I think that's all we have from wrestling. What else? Do you have anything else from wrestling, Kay, that we need to talk about?
No,
Good.
I think we're good. Let's go. Let's go to
Yeah,
post.
let's go to post real quick, and we'll work from there. So yeah, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. You have been listening to Kings of the Rings podcast, episode number 322. The more things change, because the more things change, the more they stay the same. And this podcast will be staying the same regardless. Of course, I'm your host, King Ricky Rose, formerly at Ambassador Bigs across all social media. Don't try to find me or follow me because I'm not there for indefinite time being. Find Kings of the Rings podcast, however, at KOTR_podcast across all social media outlets. A link to all of our stuff, including our merchandise, is in the description below. Like, share, subscribe, leave us 5-star reviews. Even if you hate us, leave a 5-star review and write a description about why you actually don't like us. But make sure you include that 5 stars in it as well, because it really helps us get our stuff out there to the rest of the wrestling community. If you're listening to us, make sure you're listening to us on Wrestle Addict Radio, the cure for the common wrestling podcast, found across all outlets wherever you get your podcast, and follow Wrestle Addict Radio's social media at addict_wrestle on Twitter, because some dumbass took Wrestle Addict Radio already, and Wrestle Addict Radio everywhere else on social media. K. Murphy. Okay, it's all you.
Your sound cut out, so I missed what you
Oh.
just said after you said my name.
Oh, no. I was just waiting on you.
Oh, I'm ready for the post show. I'm ready for snacks.
Yes.
You can find me across all social media at the K Murphy, TheKae Murphy. Thinking of changing my social media handles soon.
Ooh.
We'll update y'all. I don't know if I want my full name anymore, so we shall see what I do. You can follow my design store at Euphoric Future Designs on Instagram and on Spring. And yeah, let's go to Posty.
Yeah, let's go to post. When we come back, we'll be back from Vegas, hopefully, if he still has any more money. K. Murphy will be back. We'll be back, and we'll talk about all the crazy things that are going on in the world of wrestling next week. So until then, folks, goodbye, good night. We'll see you soon. And as always, what's that word I'm looking for the new year? Oh, there is nothing new, because the more things change, the more they stay the same. Fuck you, Slack. See you later, folks.